Hello, everybody, and welcome to 95.7 The Talk. My name is SNIACHY, and I am joined with my brother Joe, and today's episode is titled Futuristicism. So basically, we are going to be talking about incorporating futuristic things into the modern world, because we are kind of headed towards an era where that is going to end up being like the thing, like where everything is like fully cyberpunkish looking. So yeah,
thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So what do you expect to hear on this podcast?
I think all about the future, all about the random things that are coming to us, like beach tennis, and I don't know. What do you expect to hear?
Well, I expect to hear a lot about, obviously, strange sports. That will be the first arc of this series. We're going to be talking about beach tennis, goalball, netball, kabaddi, any weird sports that really nobody knows about. That's like outside the internet.
And you think those are the wave of the future?
Pretty much. And also, I'm gonna say the same thing with music, because since we have all this different technology, people are gonna be creating different types of music and different genres that wouldn't normally exist right now, and that's kind of what I have been doing. So I'm kind of bringing in the future of music.
Are you now?
Yes. And because since every song that I've ever made has always been made on my phone or my iPad now, and technically...
Would you consider yourself a pioneer?
Well, probably, because since I'm creating different genres as I'm producing my music, I kind of end up fusing and blending all like a lot of genres together and making one different like hybrid genre that no one's really ever heard before.
Interesting. So, in other words of the future, I'm curious, what do you think is the future of this podcast? What are your hopes?
First of all, I hope that is if we have a big enough audience and it reaches around the country, then we can continue, and I really want to see major growth in with this podcast and with my music also. And then I want to also hopefully get my hands on more advanced technology, so then we can be have a more I don't know, but like a more advanced style of podcasting.
Interesting. So, let's talk about stuff.
Okay, first of all, I would like to say that eventually I want to be having sponsors, so then we can eventually do collabs with like different companies, and then have, when SNIACHYFEST rolls around, then...
Explain SNIACHYFEST to everyone listening.
So basically what SNIACHYFEST is, it's my DIY music festival that will be held Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 4 days which will be
It's a long weekend.
Yeah, so basically a long weekend music festival at the start of each new season. So like at the start of spring, summer, fall, and winter.
So there would be 4 a year.
Yes, exactly. But that's like, well, altogether, that's just SNIACHYFEST 1. And then the next year would be SNIACHYFEST 2. So it's basically 4 music festivals at the beginning of each season.
But they're all part of the same music festival.
Yes, but they're just, different. See, because if you have, let's say there's pop for the first weekend. For like spring. And then summer is like cloud rap or like SoundCloudy type rap and all that, like ethereal type stuff. And then you have like, because there will be different stages with different genres, because it'll kind of be split up by genre, but it'll kind of all be like you can do whatever you want with that genre. So it's not going to be exactly like folk or pop or alternative rock or whatever. It's gonna be kind of, you can experiment with any genre, but still make it sound like a folk song or a country song or a rap song type of thing. So it'll just depend on what the artists have ready to go for their set.
Interesting. And that's the future of SNIACHY music.
Exactly. And then moving on, and also to add on to that, eventually we will get to a point where SNIACHYFEST is basically hyper-reality. Because when SNIACHYFEST hyper-reality...
What is hyper-reality?
Okay, so basically hyper-reality is far more advanced virtual reality. It's basically blending the virtual and real world together. And then, because that video that I showed you, like back in December or whatever, that hyper-reality short film,
yeah,
that's what it is. That's what hyper-reality is. Because it's like you're wearing glasses and you can see other things. Like, because, with traffic and whatnot, you don't have a lot of signals except for the arrows and stuff on the road. So with hyperreality, you will be able to detect cars, not just with your car, because a lot of cars have that detection technology in them, and then you can see if there are approaching cars. So it'll almost be like,
but don't your eyes already do that?
Yeah, well, it'll be like an advancement to your eyes.
So it's basically enhancing.
Yeah, you're
enhancing what we already have.
Yeah, we're basically enhancing our vision so we can see traffic in a more wider scale.
So just like increasing our peripheral vision?
Exactly.
Interesting.
And then also for the SNIACHYFEST part, you'll be able to see you'll be able to see like food menus and all that without having to scan a QR code, because sometimes those don't always work. And then you can just put your...
So you're just saying you'd walk into the restaurant and the menu would just be...
You see the menu, the technology would... When you get out of the car and you look at the restaurant, it'll just scan the restaurant, and then it'll give you then you can see a menu.
Interesting.
So then you can just there will be a little I don't know, not really not like a wheel like on my Apple Watch, but it'll be kind of a thing on the headband thing where you could just gently twirl your finger so then you can scroll and see the different menu options. And then you'll be able to...
So now you have a TikTok as well, correct?
Yes.
I want to know, so as a content creator, you create your music and You have your TikTok, and that you actually just made a TikTok that had a lot of views. Is that correct?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the thoughts on that app? Like the girls that they're only famous because they like shake their butt.
Well, okay. First of all, if you're just shaking your butt to get views, then that's not really content creating. You're just shaking your butt for the heck of it because it really, like,
They're still getting all the views.
But yeah, exactly. And then like I don't know. Like it's just it's just weird to me that like why shake your butt when you can do so much more stuff.
So you don't think they're actually creating content, per se?
Well, in a sense, yes, they are, but at the same time, no, they're not, because that's not creative. Because, like, in the past, like, I mean, you can find out so much more and then put it into fruition.
Interesting.
So then you don't have to.
So you're saying they're wasteful?
Yeah, in a sense, yes, it is kind of a waste of time. But like, and then kind of with me as a content creator, I have different videos, because sometimes I'll do a Bunnyzilla video, I'll post a beat, or I'll give an album update or post a snippet of a song, so it varies.
Now what about people like Brecky Hill or Olivia Dunn? What do you think about them? Because they're creating content, they're not just
Yeah, well, I mean, Olivia Dunn she's very successful because obviously she does gymnastics for LSU and
she's hot.
I mean, yeah, that too, and also has millions of followers on TikTok and Instagram, and she's obviously very successful and has lots more potential in the future.
Are you team Livy or team Brecky? Do you know the controversy that's going on between the two of them?
Yeah, because doesn't the other one look like Olivia?
Yeah, Brecky Hill.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that on Snapchat. It's kind of it's.
They look like each other.
I know, it's like a carbon copy. It's like you put them in like it's like a copy and paste.
But they kind of have beef. So
yeah.
Who do you support out of those two?
I mean, since I
as a rapper,
yeah, I'm gonna have to say Olivia, because she's the OG, and she's made way more money and has a lot more followers. So as long as she keeps doing what she's doing, and then I think eventually it'll just start to fade, because I think the beef will just eventually start to fade, and then we will see, and hopefully they get along, because that's just what I mean, you can't beef for the rest of your life.
That's right.
So I'm gonna have to say Olivia Dunn, and also shout out to her. You do great gymnastics, and
have you watched her do gymnastics?
I've seen clips here and there.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever watched her do gymnastics,
but she is pretty good. She's
she's a D1 athlete.
Yeah, so I mean,
you got to be pretty good to be D1.
Mm-hmm. And I could also see her being in the Olympics, maybe.
I think she's too tall. What do you think?
Because how tall is she?
I think she's like 5'7". I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that.
But like, because isn't there like a certain height requirement for Olympics?
No, there's not a requirement, but it's easier to tumble and.
Yeah, I do all like the choreographed dances.
Yeah, well, it's more the flips and stuff. It's just easier when you're smaller.
Yeah, kind of like a Gabby Douglas.
Yeah, well, Gabby Douglas is like what, 4'8"?
Yeah,
She's short. I mean,
she's like shorter than Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie. For reference, who is Maddie?
Maddie is my girlfriend. For those of you that do not know, I've been with her for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
So
she'll be on here eventually, right?
Yes, she will be, and also my cousins will also be on here eventually. Because then eventually, if we have more people, then we're gonna have to have more microphones.
We are gonna have to have more microphones.
So really, in reality, they may make an appearance in later seasons or maybe this season, because I already have my one cousin. He said he wants to be on it.
Woohoo. Elijah.
Yeah, because he wants to, kind of discuss the future of like Pokemon and stuff.
Future of Pokemon, a truly outstanding franchise in terms of kids' toys. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and it's made more money than Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of crazy when you think about it. I mean, Star Wars, is definitely more of a film franchise compared to Pokemon, where it's both.
Yeah.
It's the card game, it's the
games film, and the films
and the video games. Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm. But I think a big setback for Star Wars is having not produced a lot of like new content for years and years. After the prequels came out until Disney bought them.
And then it all went on to like Disney Plus and
then Disney made the last 3 movies, which weren't very good. I don't know what your thoughts are on them.
I think the one in 2015 was pretty good. Which one? The one with the Last Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, because the way they introduced Kylo Ren was pretty impressive.
I just thought it was uncreative. It was very like it just felt repetitive from seeing the first 3 movies, and I'm talking about 4, 5, and 6, not 1, 2, and 3. But it just felt like a lot of the content from there was just recycled into the last,
and a lot of because basically what you're saying is they kind of did a redo. They kind of made a kind of a quote unquote remake.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how I felt about the Avatar movie that just came out, The Way of Water.
Yeah,
I felt it was very similar to the original Avatar. I don't know. Have you seen it yet?
Well, yeah, we both went to watch it.
I remember that.
Yeah, from my standpoint, it was pretty good.
But you have to agree there is a lot of similarity, and it's he's reintegrating into a foreign people, and
kind of what he did at the beginning.
Yeah, kind of what he did at the beginning of the first movie.
Yeah, and it should have been like at the end of the first movie they should have integrated him with the water people instead of introducing the water people in the second one and having him integrate like that. They should have integrated him in at the end of the first movie.
Yeah.
And then also for like Pokemon, because like every 3 years they come out with new games and they sell so many copies, and recently Scarlet and Violet sold the most copies in like the first week.
Yeah.
It was, I'm going to take a wild guess at it here, like maybe, I'm going to say like 17 million copies or something like that.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and then you have all the, and there's also, you can't forget the spin-off games. Though,
like what?
Coliseum, Stadium 2, and XD Gale of Darkness, which all pretty much, XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum take place in a region called Ore.
Interesting.
It's like it's a desert region, and people are also wanting like a Pokemon Stadium remake. because that's what they wanted for Pokemon Day this year. But instead, we got the Scarlet and Violet DLC, the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, which is going to basically deep dive into the giant crater that's in the middle of the Paldea region.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know too much about that, but
yeah, but as Pokemon as a whole franchise, it is probably one of the most successful franchises in history.
In history. That's a bold statement.
I mean, a lot of other franchises like One Piece has also been very successful, and then then there's Bakugan.
Yeah, but I don't really think any of those are as successful as Pokemon.
Yeah, but Pokemon's probably the out of all three of those franchises that I've just mentioned, Pokemon's the most successful.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
that makes sense because they're overreaching into several categories in the market, whereas Nerf guns,
it's just
still play with those, right?
Yeah.
And Lego. They're just toys. Legos had successful TV shows, I think.
Yeah, with Ninjago,
and then the Ninjago, and then they have the Lego movie
and the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah. So they might actually rival Pokemon in terms of overall success.
Yeah. And the sets.
Yeah, and they've had plenty of Lego video games actually. So I think that would be a good franchise to look at to compare to Pokemon.
Yeah.
Obviously, growing up, I was more of a Lego person than a Pokemon person. But
and I was more of a Pokemon person than a Lego person.
Yeah. But
and I think you were kind of the reason because. Weren't you the one that gave me the Badoo card or something?
I could have.
Yeah, because it was back when I was in 4th grade.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, so I've been doing Pokemon for over 10 years now.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
And so I've been there since, I want to say, yeah. Because I discovered it when it was kind of going from Gen 4 to Gen 5.
I don't know what that means.
From the Diamond and Pearl and Platinum games to Black and White, which I got Black and White for my birthday when I was 11.
Interesting. How old are you now?
23.
Dang.
So
it's been a while.
Yes. And I unfortunately lost my copy of White version at school.
Yeah.
And Heart Gold, which had my original Typhlosion on it, but I've moved on, I've grown up, and I've gotten over it, so it's not the end of the world.
You got more important things to do now. Mm-hmm. Like this podcast.
And my music. And your music. And my girlfriend.
And your work. Your job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Pokemon's come a long way. And I'm very proud of them for doing all that they've done. And I'm really looking forward to actually playing the new games and see what they're all about.
Interesting.
And then there's Pokemon Snap, and then there was the Pokewalker, which came with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which both of those.
Yeah. A lot of Pokemon stuff.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Those ended up getting washed in the washer, which.
So changing topics a little bit here. What are your thoughts about the NFL, and what do you think is going to happen in the draft this year?
Well,
we have big quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud and Stetson Bennett,
and who does Bennett play for?
He played for Georgia.
Okay, I think as far as C.J. Stroud goes, I think I could see him being on. I hope he gets drafted to Pittsburgh, or maybe
to Pitt. Why Pittsburgh? That's an odd pick.
I mean, we had Ryan Shazier go to Pittsburgh, but then he ended up getting injured really bad.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh, I mean, I think they have their At least what they think is their franchise level quarterback with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I mean he does really do a good performance.
Yeah. A lot of people think like the Texans or the Bears. Well, the Bears probably not. But more like the Texans or the Raiders or someone is going to be looking to pick up someone like C.J. Stroud or Stetson Bennett. Or the thing right now is who's going to go first overall.
Yeah. Just going off a limb here, I think C.J. Stroud I could possibly see him going to either the Bears or Texans.
The Bears or Texans?
Because.
So do you think the Bears are going to ditch Justin Fields?
I don't know, to be honest, but or they could have Stroud as like a second or third string. He's
probably going to go to a starting spot, though. Most likely. I mean, like, there's plenty of teams that need quarterbacks right now.
And I think, or I could see Stroud being on the Texans.
On the Texans, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty bad last year.
Yeah, but I feel like with Stroud, with his performance on the Buckeyes, like this year and last year, except for the OSU Michigan game, he kind of had a little trip up here and there.
You were at that game, weren't
you? And you were there too.
I was there.
Yeah, big
OSU fans in this house.
And then Maddie and I left 6 minutes before it ended because it was going downhill very quickly.
It's going downhill.
So then we just ended up going back to her sister's place, and then
to the bar, right?
Yeah, we went to the Point Tavern over in Upper Arlington, and we had drinks and pizza, but the pizza didn't get there till like we were getting ready to leave.
Yeah,
because we got Donato's.
Gotcha.
And all the kitchen was closed because the chef that works at Point Tavern, I think he was like at a wedding that night, that day, so we couldn't really do that. We couldn't really get food there, and so I bet you didn't know that the girl that works there, her name is Maddie, and she knows Ricky.
At the Point Tavern?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, 'cause
they probably went to high school together, something like that.
Yeah, I assume so. And it's a really fun little tavern. And I was just, I took over the jukebox.
Yeah, you did.
I was blasting like 504 and stuff.
Ew.
Yeah.
I'm not a big 504 fan.
But I am, though.
Is Lil Uzi Vert trash or gas?
Gas.
What rappers are trash? Give me a list.
Okay. I don't know exactly, but I feel like Ice JJ Fish.
Would you compare yourself to a young Ice JJ Fish?
Not exactly. I'd kind of compare myself to a more like the old version of Kanye.
That's saying a lot.
Because, he experiments with... He used to experiment with a lot of sound. Yeah, I'm like...
I see the Ice JJ Fish in you.
Well, because, Remember My Drip Rap song?
I remember Drip Rap. That was one of your original...
But that was never mixed or mastered.
But it was still... That's one of the best songs you've ever produced,
yeah.
I think.
Well, I just... And then... The
Drip Rap went hard.
Yeah, and also Crucify Thy Infant.
No, that wasn't good.
But
I didn't think...
I mean, it had like 5,000 plays on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And then eventually, maybe I'll redo it one day, but who knows? Because I have a heck ton of other albums.
Yeah. New album every week.
Pretty much, yes. And then I'm working on an album called Olive right now, and that's gonna be hopefully coming out sometime during the spring. And then
grinding it out.
And then we're gonna move on to Paldea Part 1, which is which is a 33 song album.
Interesting.
And a majority of the songs will be produced by me.
Will be produced by you, prod by SNIACHY.
And then expect to get Blue Boat Gang Volume 4 on July 13th.
Yeah.
Because I think that's when we did the Johnson Outboard commercial remix.
The original Blue Boat Gang.
Yeah, just you, Ricky, and I.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of turned. Then I was like, why not add like Jackson and all that, and Maddie, just kind of make it a whole thing. Just our close relatives and friends. And then I think it doesn't just have to be music. It can be like anything.
What?
The Blue Boat Gang. We don't.
What do you mean anything?
Like, we don't just have to be like a music group. We don't have to just do music. We can do other things. Like,
I'm not really understanding.
Like, kind of, come up with different, like, concept, like, I don't know, like, or like planning things, or like, get-togethers and stuff. Like, we can take over the planning for like family get-togethers and whatnot. Because eventually what's gonna happen? Because eventually we'll all be moved out and fully independent.
Facts.
So then we're not gonna have. So then it'll be up to us to plan stuff instead of waiting for our the parents to plan anything. So then we can.
I plan some stuff now.
Yeah.
Just not like family trips. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they might still plan it even going on.
Yeah, but like when it's just our immediate families.
Yeah.
Then we'll have.
You mean like when your family and my family, like later on down the line?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Because it'll still, I will still consider us all the Blue Boat Gang.
I will too.
And then we'll have a lot of.
Would you consider Jennifer Matter part of the Blue Boat Gang?
Yeah, I would.
You would? Mm-hmm. She's actually coming, and she's going to be making a guest appearance here in 1 second.
Yes. This is going.
We're going to talk about her hair for a second.
It's frizzy, and it looks like a skunk. It's like a reverse skunk.
Reverse skunk.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the reverse skunk? Do you think it looks good or bad?
I think it looks good because it could be, it could be a fashion trend. It could be like a hair trend.
A hair trend?
Yeah. And this is also going on YouTube. So
it is.
We're dropping all the facts.
We're dropping all the facts right here
on 95.7 The Talk.
95.7 The Talk.
Yeah. So we are gonna be doing a lot on these episodes.
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, this is.
So here we have the Jennifer Matter.
No, Jennifer Matter.
Here to comment.
Going on a walk. Does anyone want to come?
Here. So what do you have to say about Nick's comments on your hair?
Nothing.
She had no comment.
Yeah.
No comment.
So this is gonna be. We're gonna be posting these episodes every weekend that I'm off, because we're gonna record the episode, then we're gonna put it out, and then we're gonna have guest appearances every now and then. But
I'm only gonna be here for a little bit, so I'm just the guest for now, I guess. I'll be here for the first couple episodes.
Yes, and then eventually, when my girlfriend is over, then we're gonna then she'll kind of take over Joe's spot.
Yeah.
And then I want to, kind of get you, Ricky, and I together and make a sequel to the Johnson Outboard commercial remix.
Sounds good to me.
And we could just do it on the iPad and then put it on YouTube and SoundCloud and then see if it blows up or not.
See if it blows up.
Because my one YouTube short got 888 views in 6 hours, and now it's at 1.6K. And if I keep doing that,
keep grinding.
yes,
Keep working hard.
and then I'll eventually blow up and eventually be famous and do tours and all that stuff. So
Yeah, you will.
and then all you guys are gonna get the VIP seats,
That's facts.
and you'll be on my tour bus.
Sounds good to me.
So yeah, with that being said, this is the 95.7 The Talk podcast with your host SNIACHYDCCXI and your co-host Joe Matter.
Joe Matter.
And then we're gonna have a lot more guest speakers on here.
Any takers on the wall?
So
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I
welcome.
appreciate the opportunity. And, yeah.
and peace out and thank you for listening.